Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
I'm at home doing weird crafts and stuff because it's not safe to go outside, right? Like, it's nothing like being like Poe and living in like just broke down housing and just you smart for no reason because you didn't have cable, right? So you grew up with like PBS TV ish.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Like I had like
Watching
3
the Trap
channels.
Brothers.
Dragon Tales.
Yeah.
Dragon
It
Tales.
was Zumafu.
Zubumafu. Yo.
I started skipping like that motherfucker once. It was like I just randomly just started putting my feet together.
Who
like,
didn't, bro? You see that motherfucker come hopping into the room all just carefree and shit. You're like, man, it would be nice to be a monkey, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, that's my favorite fucking name. What year were you born in? Do you know your Chinese zodiac? Do you guys?
I am a...
I am a monkey.
Oh, fuck you. I wanted one of those. I wanted it. I know it's going to say... no racist, but...
Year of the snake, I think. Yeah.
Year of the snake. And that's okay. I'm not mad at it. Guess what I got? Babe, Pig in the City.
Oh, man.
And the funny thing is, if you ever paid attention to it, Hollywood puts out a movie strategically in that year that has something to do with the Chinese zodiac animal.
Well, I mean, come on. The Chinese audience is like one of the biggest movie-going audiences out right now.
You know,
we'll talk about...
Hollywood has another
audiences
obsession
right
that they... Hollywood is another obsession that they love to make, and that's apocalypse movies. So I was thinking, like, what is, like, the least suspenseful way to make an apocalypse movie? And I'm just thinking, like, if you can take one man-made thing and erase it from existence, one man-made thing that requires no external power source, and just erase it from existence, how would that destroy society? Soap. Get rid of soap, everyone's going to die.
Hey,
I mean,
That's
listen,
good.
I don't know if you know the history of your peoples at all, but...
I say trophies.
Europe was doing just fine without soap for quite a long time, I guess. You know, if
35 years at a time, sure.
if you were nose blind.
I say trophies will definitely fuck up mankind
Trophies.
in its own way. Like,
Trophies, you think people, yeah, you need a reward system, right? Like, I need a visual thing, like, I can... So,
I also said the
what's
knife.
the definition of a trophy, right?
Trophy
Wife?
gratification in its own. Oh, everything that makes you feel like it's.
Well, that's what God made us for. We get that through the chemicals. I'm talking something man-made, like
Therapy. Shout out to Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
God damn it, you guys are contrarian with this question.
I mean, you said man-made. I mean, therapy, like the
I said man-made.
Profession?
Other people?
profession of therapy. It's a profession. It's not. I mean, I guess you need other people to do it, but you need other people to make socks. So, like, are we going full paperclip experiment with this and just getting rid of people who make socks to get rid of socks?
I mean, we make each other. Man-made.
Oh God, you two are the worst.
Shout out to Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Go get some therapy because it's not gay to go get therapy, even though it is also Pride Month.
Happy Pride, everybody!
I like that.
Periwinkle invited me to Pride in Annapolis yesterday, and I was like, I'm still a little too Catholic for this.
It's also wow. I was really about to say it's not gay to go with your gay friends to Pride if you're straight. Like,
It's not, but it's just a little overwhelming for me.
is it? Is it? Why is it overwhelming for you, dog?
Because I'm very...
It's too much meat. I can't handle all the meat. My goodness, it's so many fine men walking around here. I don't know what I'm gonna do because what? What are you afraid you can't get a lesbian? Oh, it's bisexual people there. It's Pride. LGBTQ+.
Sometimes you just want to see how it pans out.
Right.
That's a good
When I was 5 years old, I was at my sister.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Did you just? I'm so mad I'm not like actually recording video right now. This man just followed up the question with when I was 5 years old. Listen, I'm just a little too Catholic for this. God, what kind of fucking cold opener is this?
When I was 5 years old at my sister's wedding,
Oh god.
there was this song that I was dancing to, and it was awesome. But then as soon as they went, "It's raining men," I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go back to my table now.
You know what song was the one that got me in trouble when I was a kid? Or it wasn't even a song that got me in trouble. It was more like the older I got, the more I was aware, like, oh, that's why I shouldn't sing that. It was the, man, I feel like a woman. And I would be so excited about that song.
Yo,
Like,
that song is just so fun to fucking sing, bro. Like,
it's like, you know, talking about.
I mean, Semi-Charmed Life is also a great song to sing, and that's all about crystal meth.
you're not gonna.
Hey, yo.
You can't, like, we can't shame me here. I, like, unapologetically love, like, girl bands and Caliuchis.
Me too.
And, like, Marias just dropped a new album. Love it.
I'm a huge fan of The Sounds and Tegan and Sarah. PJ Harvey, I'm a huge fan of hers.
I believe these are very nice names of very nice people.
We gotta get you hip to some of this
What
music.
kind of shit you be spinning, bro?
Who, me?
Yeah.
What kind of music I listen to?
My man was like, "Can you say it like a normal person, please?"
No, I was like, I ain't spent the fucking anything in a while. Like, I have not spent a CD or shit. I've never had a wax disc or whatever before, but
I got tons of.
but I've been YouTubing the fuck out some songs.
He's like, I stream, sir. Spinning? That's crazy. What are you saying?
Sir, you might as well call me pissed away. I make multiple streams. I be just like, I fuck with Netflix now. I'm on Disney, but the music I tend to gravitate towards or whatever has no real definition other than like rap, trap, or whatever. But it's like I find the ones where the lyrics are not like too hard to relate to. So it's like I just found out there's a song with Snoop Dogg and what's his name? Anderson .Paak. And a dude named October London. October London?
Yeah.
It sounds like you would like to listen to Future if you could increase the pitch.
Yeah. Anderson .Paak is definitely dope.
Anderson .Paak, he had an amazing Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah, we need to give that man his flowers. I don't feel like he gets enough credit.
He was the one who played drums at the Super Bowl. For the Dr. Dre LA one?
Yeah.
That was, he was the one playing drums.
I love his album he did with, I can't remember the guy's name, but I know they did a really good job. Either it's Alchemist or something else, but
You talking about the No Worries?
No Worries was so
Yeah.
damn good. I listened to almost every damn song on there, and it was so good. Like, I like Heart Don't Stand a Chance. No, that was on a different album. But, what was it? What More Can I Say? And then there's the other song I just found out was on that song, but I'll worry about that later, because I just like music that really makes me feel something. Not like on a level like, I want to cry.
You hear that, Drake?
Yeah.
Hear that, Drake?
Like, I want a song like that. Like, I don't like when he act tough. I like Drake with the melodies. like to this, it's like I even listened to a couple of Drake songs because like it wasn't him pretending to be the hardest or whatever. Like, he can do a good job pretending.
Yeah,
he's a good actor, but
that's literally how he's been cooking for the last 10 years.
Oh no,
bro.
the thing about it is like the way how I feel about it. I like a couple songs from Drake or whatever. One of the songs that I enjoy is Remorse, and the other one is from the same album, Champagne Poetry. And I don't know what it is, but I fuck with those couple songs. And then there's back to Anderson .Paak. I like quite a few songs from him. There's one, What More Can I Say, or something like that. And then there's Suede. I fuck with that.
What More Can I Say is on the Yes Lord album, and I think that
Yes Lord!
Yeah, the second album in the No Worries collaboration, which is Anderson .Paak. Right?
That's it, yeah, Knowledge. I like him. Those two together are good. I'd say it was quite a few songs. It was the other one that I was like, Come Down. I remember that one, but that's probably on the other album.
Anderson .Paak got heat, bro.
Oh my God, they be cook. I like Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars' album that they did together was so damn good. Like, I don't know if it was an album, I don't know if it was a mix, whatever.
I was expecting so much more from that collaboration, right? Because, like, when you have somebody with the talent of Anderson .Paak and somebody with the talent of Bruno Mars,
but
right?
the suave,
like,
yeah.
I'm really expecting them to cook up some September shit. Right?
Oh my God,
yeah,
yeah.
like I was really thinking like, oh, y'all about to bring back funk music? Because if any two artists, I feel like the only way that could have gotten any funkier is if you'd have brought Miguel on that shit. Right? Like Anderson .Paak, Miguel, and Bruno Mars. Listen, we talking music this early, this heat. This
Don't
kind
forget
of music.
Pharrell, because if they have Pharrell in there too, he throws some extra like some
So,
background
are you
drums.
saying after you listen to the album, your levels of disappointment were...
I was actually gonna say the fact that we're talking about music this early into the podcast is just another example that none of this is We're rising up and crashing through those levels on your
ears.
This is Doc
And Ziggy.
and we are the
The
Flood.
Flood.
Back at you with another intro, your favorite weekly pop culture digest,
Where we-
bringing you our
Pop perspective.
to put the culture in context.
And make the mainstream make sense, because if we don't make sense, we don't make dollars.
Amen.
Holla.
How else could we bring the news happening around you and discuss how it shapes the culture that defines you without our patrons?
Enraged Peacock and... I don't have one. I didn't think about this.
You guys for tuning in and sticking through the 2.5 hours because you love all this comedy. And since you love all this comedy, we brought a fucking guest this week.
Who do we got here?
Be more milk.
Be more milk,
That's
everybody.
it. You heard it. Our man Milk from the local comedy scene. Milk, do you want to hand out your handles and everything like that?
I mean, I try to lose weight so I don't have handles, but I mean, I am been getting. I don't know if the camera's picking up. I feel like you're fat or whatever. It's like my son actually poked my damn stomach. I do have an Instagram and a Facebook, but I mostly just lean towards Instagram. I promise to give myself a little bit more in the future. Like,
I'll drop your Instagram tag in the
I was
episode
gonna say, or
description.
just, let them know what your Instagram handle is so they can follow you.
well, if they're ready for me. Let me stop playing. It's Milkman Comedy if you wasn't able to hear it. That's on Instagram because I too have ADHD sometimes. I won't even admit how the unconventional way I figured out I actually have it without being like tested or whatever for it. I was like, I was very taken aback by that. I ain't even gonna go through the trials and tribulations. It's just fun. We was talking about something. And I don't know why I'm over here. It's just arm on elbow, elbow on kneecap, and
Well, Milk,
That's
Here's
it.
the thing.
That's how you find out you got ADHD, right? You just going, and then all of a sudden you be like, "Man, what the fuck was we even talking about, bro?"
like we was having a very in-depth and serious conversation. You guys were talking about the musical politics of politic music.
Well, no, you see, the thing
slide
is,
into it.
everybody has those hills that they will die on. Those beliefs that which they cannot be moved, where conviction shines through more than anything else. And here at the Flood, we have to see if you will survive on the hill that you have chosen to die. So,
You know, if
will
I had
your
to
hill
guess, yeah.
become an island? Tell us, what is your island?
all right, we can do this.
My man's
Honestly-
ain't ready, so I have to get ready. Go ahead.
Honestly, I would say I would choose not to die on any goddamn hill. But if I had to be honest about something, though, there's quite a few hills in my roster. I have a weird mind that thinks about a lot of shit often, and I forget about it just as easy. Thank God for ADHD.
That's that ADHD kicking, baby. You gotta love it.
My hill that I was thinking about as I heard the question, though, was sometimes being single can be a scam. It is a
Being single can be a scam?
Okay,
you
talk that talk.
motherfucking right. So check this out.
What you mean?
What is it about, like,
Elaborate.
you being out here thinking that you need to find someone, right? You'll go out doing the utmost random of shit. And the way how it's targeted is for mostly like single guys or whatever. They're told like women are looking for this kind of guy, women are looking for that kind of guy. They want you to do this, they want you to do that. And then you turn around, it's like you're so busy trying to be someone else. If you actually took the time to be yourself, you'd find the person that you really want to be tethered to.
That's not where I thought you were going to go with that at all.
So what you're saying is you don't need to find anybody else. You need to fall in love with yourself first before you go on and bother somebody.
That, and then there's so many other avenues with it. Like, first things first. If you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else?
Are you saying?
Oh, heavy.
Are you saying you don't you don't get bitches because you don't like yourself, or are you saying you don't like yourself because you don't get bitches?
Wow.
Every one of those bitches. Oh God, Joe. It's like you be sitting there the whole time. You're just like pondering, what can I do so I can get some vajayjay, some kunuchi, something I can actually enjoy myself with. Like, and the whole time is like, my brother, if you was actually capable of being in love with yourself, you wouldn't really need nobody to distract you.
Talk. What did we say? It's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Men, let's get in check.
But there's so many different avenues. Like,
the answer to the question is, you don't pull bitches because you don't love yourself.
And you can't pull bitches if you ain't bitches. You feel me? You gotta be that man that talks that talk. Be yourself too.
You gotta be the energy that you are trying to attract.
Exactly. Like, it's all about laws of attraction, but also like levels of loving thyself. Being the one who teach yourself how to love yourself. Like,
that's it.
Take yourself on a movie date. Who gives a fuck?
I've done it. I literally went to go see Spider-Man: Homecoming by myself.
I actually have seen a lot of like the movies that I really wanted to see. I go like opening night or opening day, like early in the day. Make sure I can catch it day of. So a couple of, like, I saw Super Mario the day it came out. No, I didn't. I saw it like a week later, but I did go see it by myself.
Right.
I saw Black Panther the day it came out.
That's good.
Well, I definitely saw that one, and like that was a group outing, right? Like that was for the culture.
For me, that was.
I forgot my kente cloth.
A lot of. We weren't doing this pod at the time, but I know a lot of my friends would be like, "You want to go see Black Panther at 11:30 in the morning?"
Shit,
and
I
I'm
want to
like,
go see Twilight.
yeah, I do. So I was like the only white person in the theater.
So, weird story. It's funny that you say that and I say what I'm about to say. When I was in high school, I actually like cut school to go see Twilight.
Hey.
And it was, I think either it was Breaking Dawn or the one where what's his name? Jacob was a pedophile. Whichever one it was. It's like, you know, they painted him to be that weirdly.
Hey yo, isn't it Edward? Right, Edward is the one that's the vampire. Yeah.
Both of them are pedophiles, basically.
Is Jacob supposed to be? Like,
Well, I mean, if you do the half your age plus 7 rule, like, and they're over 200, like, like they're getting World War I survivors.
I mean, either way you look at it, because, like, here we go, we got Edward with the like, my wine is aged just
so
right.
That's what I'm saying, like, controversial, I guess, controversial decision we're gonna have to make here.
I was gonna say...
vampires age out consent-wise, like, when they were... When
I think it actually
became
depends on when they
vampires?
turn.
That's what I'm saying, like...
Like,
so
if somebody was
you
turned
got
at, like, 70, they don't reverse age. They just exist as a vampire at 70.
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying, like, consent-wise. Like, does it matter when you're turned or, like, how old you actually are? Because we're talking, like, Edward is a pedophile then, if that's it. Like, just because he was turned at 17,
what about,
doesn't
like,
mean he can keep fucking 17
Well, I mean,
right?
what, like, also, does the clock reset after you've turned? Like, do you have to wait 18 years after you've turned?
Oh, no, now you're just being controlled.
I mean, if we think about it, it's like, Edward just sounds like the guy from off of School Days. It's like, that's the one thing I like about young girls. I keep getting older and they keep the same age.
Goddamn Matthew McConaughey.
Who is a literal vampire.
Hey,
that's vampire logic.
That nigga has looked the same since the very fucking...
Let me ask Milk one of our favorite questions.
Go
have you seen Interview with a Vampire?
I glimpsed it. I won't lie to you.
Is Interview with a Vampire better or worse if you replace Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon?
I mean, they've been fucking for years. I don't think it matters. I don't really think it matters anymore. At the same time, like, I'm like, they pretty seem like, I never watched the movie, but anytime it feel like the way how they got it set up now actually like is extenuating how they really feel the relationship between those two is going.
Oh, it's very homosex.
Like both the Interview with a Vampire and then like the Matt Damon and Ben Affleck love affair. It's like It's there. Like, I feel like at one point or whatever, they've broken each other's wrists and they say, I broke my piss hand, can you shake it for me? Like, they've at least done that, and then they cross the X's, like, you know, like cross spears and shit.
I'm pretty sure Matt Damon has asked Jimmy Kimmel's wife to do that.
I mean, it's so many different ways. But, no.
So I thought you were going with your island to say being single is a scam. Because dating apps, you're literally feeding them the algorithm, so they just like, oh, you like this one? Let's send the opposite. Like eventually, he's gonna pay for premium.
I'm very glad that you brought it back, because like I definitely forgot ADHD is a motherfucker. But no, dead ass, like,
welcome to ADHD.
It's so many different avenues with it. Like, between the fact, like, one, you feel like you are obligated to find your pair. And then the other fact of, like, while you're finding your pair, you're spending money to make sure you make this, like, image of yourself that's probably not fitting you. So it's like, there's so many different ways how it's a scam. And then the even worse part about it is, when someone else is also looking for someone like you, they want you to fit all these different boxes and shit. So they end up, like, saying, you have to be this tall, you have to be this strong, you have to be this dressed. And they just want you to get married. So it's like, some people are single because they're afraid of marriage. And then other people are single because they're afraid of finding someone that is too good for them or not good enough for them. And it's like, there's that sweet spot, the middle child, you know?
In your opinion, is the middle child loving yourself, right? Like, being in acceptance of who you are, being comfortable in your...
This is interesting, considering I'm the youngest of 5. Pardon me, I'm going to listen.
No, I say it like this. It's like, given the fact that, like, it's a mixture of all of it, because the fact, like, loving yourself would also mean loving yourself enough to know what you will tolerate and what you don't need to go through.
You know who wrote a really good song about how to love yourself? Kendrick. Drake. But what's love got to do with it? You don't love yourself.
Hey, yo, real shit.
I know you wanna.
You know, that's why masturbation exists, you know? Like, just get the real, like, touch yourself. Get in touch with your inner self. Not put yourself in yourself, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you really got to take the time to get to know what you like about yourself.
I feel like you have to be really gifted in order to put yourself in yourself.
I mean...
This sounds very pause-worthy.
No Diddy. No Diddy. No Diddy.
Wait. So, is fucking yourself gay?
They did a Mad TV sketch about this.
I feel like a therapist would tell you, like, I think you should take this.
Like the one guy in the yoga class, and then he just puts his head underneath of his sweatpants.
I'm not talking about blowing yourself. That's definitely gay. But
I feel like you should do that at least once, though. I mean, like, think about it. Like, I feel like that would teach a lot of young boys, like, you really need to shower.
I don't feel like every man has the capabilities or is gifted enough to...
Allegedly, Marilyn Manson does. That's been debunked. That's not...
You leave that grown person alone. I don't know what the fuck they on, but, like, let them have their greatness.
I definitely have to say that I feel like it's gay. Like, if you have the ability and you are bored enough to be like, hey, you know, I wonder if this fits.
I feel like the way how it's set up, because you are the person you are, like, let me just say this real quick. There's two ways, because I have a duality of thought. Like, I'm just like...
Did God make it difficult on purpose?
I mean, but at the same time, you gotta work hard for it. Like, you gotta really be determined.
Really gotta
you know what I'm saying? Like, on some Mulan shit, you gotta make a man out of yourself. You feel me? Like, like, and then God gotta really bless you with the ability to be that extra jointed or me like that extra slung. Like, and it's like, then again, like, we suck lollipops. Who gives a fuck? Like,
looking in the mirror, I'll make a man out of you.
I was just thinking Silence of the Lambs. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
With some fava beans. With a nice fava bean and Chianti.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Indeed.
Well, let's just say that I don't think your island actually does float. I don't think it's a scam.
Wow. How can you say that when dating apps are
dating apps are a scam?
Bots. Everybody out right now, everybody, from what I hear, because I'm not single. So, like, from what I hear, being single is trash right now. So I think anybody that's single would agree. It's being trash
because most of the people you meet are not single. I will get into that after off mic.
Oh, we can talk about this.
I mean, you're single.
Yeah.
Dog, and you tell me all the time about how being single is trash.
Yeah, but it's not a scam.
Let me explain it further in detail. The longer you've been by yourself, forced to believe that at some point or another you will be happier with someone else, but you have to make yourself somebody else. How bullshit is that? You spend money. Like, there's guys that are probably not as smart as you with that, but it's like they have a certain level of, if I go out and buy the right cologne, get the right clothes, go to the right place, drink the right drinks, get all the right things, get the best cars, get the best fits, all these extra things that they believe are going to make them actually get some level of potential with a woman, and then they turn around and feel like they got to go out with the guys going in these places they would never do these things with. At one point, I used to be single. And when I tell you, it's like, I was an entirely different persona. I love comedy, but I was like, I had a different level of comedy at the time. And I tell you, I was like going to see these different girls. They would have me out on dates. I would spend money. I would go to the movies, take them out, have a good time, go to the Applebee's with them or whatever. That's where they wanted to go. And it's like, here I would be taking all this time and effort. You know what I would barely get at the end of the night? My name said, like, you know, so like, nice to meet you. And then, like, you know, just go and drive off or do some other shit.
That's not being single. That's dating.
And that's single life, though. It's like dating.
No. That's dating life.
You don't even have a relationship by that
I feel
time.
like what Milk is saying is, like, when you are single, you move in a way that is predominantly for other people's approval, right? Because
all right, I'll give you that.
You are searching for companionship, for company, whether it be romantic or not. You end up in these situations that feel almost obligatory at the end of it, right? And you don't get the satisfaction of the genuine, I guess, the genuine companionship that you're looking for, right? So, like, when you are single, you do a lot of things that you feel like will help garner other people's approval. And a lot of times, I feel like, as the elder statesman in the room, you age out of that shit, right? Like, and eventually you just start doing stuff for yourself. Because after a while, you get tired of looking for other people's approval. And I know to some of our listeners, maybe, that might sound like a weird concept, because right now we currently live in an age and you are listening to people who have catered in art form in a discussion around other people's approval. Like, social media has become other people's approval. It's OPP, bro.
And it bothers me, like, how you can look on social media, you get interactive about how, like, this person goes places.
But yeah.
I'll say,
I ain't mad.
Doc has definitely got a point on that one, because I started doing stand-up because I said, fuck it, I just want to do this for myself at this point.
There you go.
But before I go to do stand-up, I make sure that I do my hair.
Okay. And that's personal appearance. That's your style. That's what also makes you you. Like, there's a certain level of people out there, like I said, they're not on your level of intellect about self or self-intelligence. Like, in
And
this
I
time,
hope that we reflect that to our listeners, that y'all can see this in not only us as your hosts, but in yourself for self-growth.
like, for instance, I personally am at the point in my life where it's like, I'm falling more deeper in love with my other half, my lady. Shout out to my girl, Candace Green. She's a beautiful woman. I usually don't talk about her on social media because I don't feel that's nobody's business, you know?
Right.
Like, because, mind you, I'm at the point where I'm being a little bit more observant to shit. And it's like, the more I'm observant too, I start realizing people in relationships probably don't have the longest longevity on social media because they're too busy posting about their relationship for stunt or for clout. And then there's also people that get on social media like unconventional methods of like that on the street questioning or whatever. Like, they'll say like, right now, can you scroll through your girl's phone? Can you scroll through your boy's phone? And I'd be like, that's crazy, because that's an invasion of privacy. And at the same time, there's a certain level of like, we don't need to know each other that well. If I trust you enough, I know I can trust to live and die old with you.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's fine if you see photos of my ex on my phone because she's dead.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh, my condolences.
Yeah, they're discontinued by manufacturer.
Hey.
Jesus.
Yo, that was a good picture of Dr. King. I'm not even gonna hold it. It look like rich nigga winning straight out of Georgia.
Wow!
I'm looking at it like,
Wow!
That is-
I literally just said I have pictures of my ex on my phone, but it's okay, they're dead, and you say that's a good picture of Dr. King?
I mean, like, you know, if that's your girl,
Happy
I ain't
Pride
gonna hold
Month.
you.
Happy Pride Month.
Well, let's just say Before we go on break, some other things that we have to talk about this week. Of course, we have to talk about Trump being found guilty on 34 counts.
I think he did that shit.
Squaresoft has got some surprising news for console gamers.
People are tired of the news coming out of Bethesda.
Hey, yo.
The NBA Finals are set. Apple released their list of 100 best albums.
Furiosa debuted over the break that we took, and the box office is not looking good.
But I will say that we'll give you this week's hit on the algorithm after this break.
Said you sleep on buses a lot, right?
Oh, it's not. It gets worse. One time I got some pants from a friend of mine when I was in high school. I kept those pants because they meant something to me. And they had pockets.
Pants.
Yeah, you feel me? The Brotherhood of the...
This sounds like the start
pants.
of the inside the NBA. Charles Barkley got a bracelet from somebody in the steam room.
I like all of it. But so no, what happened was one day I had got on this bus after I got off work. Overnight can work you fucking dry. I promise you that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I did overtime. Yeah. So it's like...
We both have.
Yeah,
that's how we met. We worked together overnight at CVS.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I worked overnight at Walmart. Walmart, Liberty Road, Randallstown. That one is a nice little Walmart if you really don't plan on doing much, but it was a really dope job. I won't say no further because this is a very important show.
There is a non-0% chance you met Angel Reese.
I might not have, but at the same time, I don't know who that is, and I'll probably figure out if they got a stage name or a real name.
Well, if you check in for later in the pod, you will know.
You don't know. You will know. Go ahead. So, Cook.
So, I get on this bus. I fell asleep or whatever by the time we even got to our first turn. And then this deaf lesbian was like giving me compliments. And I knew I was doing something right because a deaf lesbian gave me a compliment on it. But like what happened was, I
don't know why.
Do you understand sign language?
More like I can understand what
like that's the biggest question I have right now. A deaf lesbian gave you a compliment.
She gave me a compliment, but it's like she said like she just mouthed like big, and I fucked with her.
Glad you did it, not me.
And I was fucking with her because she really cool with me. It's like one time I think I helped out with something. She gave me a free sandwich and some soup from Atwater's, and it was a wild day for me because like what she did, she took a picture just to show me like nothing crazy, and she said like it's hanging out, and I'm like I didn't know I had a hole in my pants, and the weird part about it was I didn't wear drawers at the time, so like what makes it worse is I'm on a bus in Baltimore, so it's like. It's not
hanging
clean.
Out on the bus,
pretty much, and it's. I forgot what brought me to this story, but it's like I think it was something about what was the reason I brought this up again?
Going viral. We were talking about how going viral has never been good for anybody who didn't intentionally go viral.
But the other thing is sometimes people are going to shamelessly try to go viral by abusing the algorithm, and you happen to be on one of those podcasts, Milk. So this week's hit on the algorithm is I Had Some Help by Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen.
Hey, and I mean Post Malone. Okay, so Post Malone is probably a good example of somebody whose life benefited from going viral because White Iverson went viral, right? Had a chokehold on
Doja Cat
streams for a long time, right? Oh yeah,
Doja Cat,
right? So I Had Some Help. It's a cool little smooth country joint, right? Like we all just listened to. What was your reaction, Milk?
I really felt in my heart that they needed some Miley Cyrus. I don't know what it was, but she could have really blended in. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't feel like that's a bad take. I feel like, maybe on a remix, maybe get Shabuzi and Miley in there.
It sounds like something I would hear at Cancun Cantina every week and forget that I heard it every week.
I take that.
I feel like that's just country music.
Here's all right. So when I looked at this was the number one hit, and I looked at Morgan Wallen was featured, it made me realize something. Post Malone is white DJ Khaled.
Another one. Another one. I like that. I say this. Post Malone is the epitome of doing something that you want to do, but only like because you get to do it. Like when he sings something or whatever, I don't feel like he really cares what genre it is. He just like, you ever talk to someone and you ask them like, "What's your favorite type of music?" and they say, "I listen to everything." This motherfucker seems like he's exactly fitting that bill. Like he's like,
and that's why I'm gonna push back and say, not white DJ Khaled, white T-Pain. And I feel like that personally, I feel like that's disrespectful to T-Pain. But it's the same kind of vibe, right? Like Post Malone has literally demonstrated the kind of variety to be anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. Like his beginning track or his debut single was
He's very
White
flexible.
Iverson,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they exposed this nigga for wearing jean shorts on YouTube in a weird, cringy video, and he started doing like indie pop kind of stuff.
All right, so I will also say I regret every single situation that I have worn jorts.
I think anybody who has worn jorts regrets them. Post Malone regretted it so much that he effectively switched genres. Once you step outside of the bubble that has become hip hop, right? Because like I would say that experimentation isn't something that seems to be really welcome in the commercial hip-hop space at the moment.
So I'll say there were a lot of jorts at Warped Tour during the 2000s, early 2010s. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you think Asking Alexandria, like, wakes up in their nice house and be like, this is a really nice house, but then look at pictures from when they were touring and then think, but at what cost?
I want to say, in some weird way of thinking about it, I want to say Post Malone is doing something he loves doing, but at the same time, it's like at the extent of like he doesn't let himself make his own decisions on what he wears or whatever.
To do black music so selfishly.
Like,
I mean,
and use it to make myself wealthy.
It is very Elvis Presley, right? Like, it is Elvis Presley in the way that I think we expected Justin Bieber to be.
Hey,
but Post Malone has definitely, and now he's doing these country features, which just kind of,
Hot take, he's doing this just to afford the next super expensive Magic the Gathering card.
Hey, yo. Like, it's just crazy thinking about,
Like, that dude has literally bought, I think, the last two major Magic the Gathering cards that got sold for, like, a max premium. I think he bought them both.
I mean, listen,
he bought the One Ring, I know that for sure, and I think he bought the 10 graded Alpha signed Christopher Rush Black Lotus.
Post is really ahead of his time, man. I feel like in that video, he wasn't just wearing jorts, but he also had a mullet, and the white guys are bringing the mullets back yet.
That was at least $2.5 million.
I've seen
by
a
the
few of
way,
those
on
damn
2
things.
cards.
Yeah, they're bringing the mullets
tough.
in the 70s stash, the thick 70s stash back, right?
Oh, that one that does that weird,
The
like,
rat tail
handlebars.
better stay in the past.
I do love rat tails. I've had one recently. It's not my best judgment, but it wasn't exactly my worst call. Like I had like a weird
taste.
I fell into the hot top.
it tastes. Oh my god! I don't wash my hair often, so it had like its own natural marinated flavors. But,
I thought you weren't insane enough to actually have a rat tail.
Wow.
The crazy part about it was because I had like the Prince Hakeem hair that
Hey,
with the fade.
My man had the faded high top with the rat tail. Listen. To you, sir, because let me tell you, it takes a certain level. You started off talking about self-love, bro, and you gotta have.
Because I can't say like I don't love myself. I remember one time it's about to get TMI as a motherfucker. I remember one time I really had like a falling out with thinking like, I be trying my best to be with these chicks, and it's like it is not working out. So it's like at one point I just said fuck it, and I did what made me happy, and then I even went
And
one
he
night.
fucked it.
I fucked the shit out of my hand one night. I think I gave myself 20 rounds.
Damn, 20?
Did you know you could actually exceed whatever? Like, sometimes you don't even got to be stiff to finish. There's just like certain levels that just keep going.
20 is crazy. I think the most I've ever cranked out is like 7, right? Like, I think I've gotten a good 7 out in one night. Like, and you know, and this is like a long haul session. Like, you're on page 52 of fucking
Hail Mary.
See, the crazy part about it is at some point.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. You what you mean?
Holy Mary,
I'll
Mother
get
of
you.
God, now at the hour of death, I bet.
Forgive us what we have
Glory be
sinned.
to the Father,
Right,
the
I'm
Son, and
sorry.
the Holy Spirit.
Fucking
is now
Candace
and ever
Owens
shall
over
be,
here.
world
Did you
without
see
end.
that
Amen.
shit? Candace
Our Father who art
Owens.
in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Chill,
Come,
chill,
thy
chill,
will be
chill,
done
chill.
on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and
Oh
forgive
my
us
God.
our
He
trespasses
was almost at
for
the
those who
climax.
trespass against us.
Almost at the climax. Is
No,
crazy.
all I'm gonna say is
I
this:
believe
like,
in the
Yeah.
one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church.
Did you see Candace Owens and Cardi B got into it last week over porn? Right, Candace Owens called for a absolute total porn ban. And if you've been following any of, or if you happen to be
By the way,
online,
I just got redeemed for running 2 red lights.
if you
proud of
happen
you, buddy.
to be
Thank
chronically
One for each eye.
online, you will know that the Republicans have been like totally on this fucking like witch hunt against like porn for a really long
let me put it like this:
They've been on witch hunts against a lot of things.
how many people in this room has actually watched the movie Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Oh, that's one of our show guests, Cool Zach's favorite movies.
So imagine
I
this:
thought you were
the
gonna-
reason why they're going as hard as they are on porn. I'm sorry for yelling, but the
Pause.
reason why no Diddy. The reason why they've gone as far as they have with trying to fight this is because maybe somewhere deep down they actually have like this same urge to watch the stuff. Like, it's like,
Well, yeah, that's been proven time and time and again. One of our
This time, it's been proven 34 times in court.
one of our staple bits yearly is I make Dan go over the Pornhub year-end statistic review where we break it down like state by state, region by region.
Because
I
it consistently makes me uncomfortable.
hey
I
yo,
look at how much time, like, they can, by category, like, they break it down by, like, state, the most searched category in each state. It's interesting, right?
One of
And
my favorite Mark Twain quotes is, first, get your facts straight. Second, distort them at your leisure. When I say, I was raised Catholic and it feels good and you know it, it's a sin, that's a funny way to succinctly put the amount of shame that I live with daily.
and you know what?
But this
I
nigga
respect
still
that.
watch porn, though.
I mean,
He just don't want to talk about it.
That's
And lots of Republicans don't want to talk about the porn that they watch.
Ted Cruz!
And how Candace Owens and how fucking boring their sex lives are. Bro, and it's not just Republicans, right? Like, you would be surprised. I'm looking at some of these polls on Instagram as this...
Pause.
Yeah.
no Diddy.
Yeah, and as this story is trending, right? Like, now the newest trend on Instagram is for engagement is getting people to participate in the surveys. Haha, you thought I was gonna say polls the second time. Yo, no, and overwhelmingly though, the people who are participating in these surveys are saying that porn needs to be banned, right? That porn is weakening men, that porn is harmful to people's mind states and stuff like that. It took me realizing that the kind of people that are participating in the surveys on the pages that are posting them are probably leaning more conservative, because obviously it's a ton of people out here that are actually okay with porn.
You know, I want to say something about that. It's a weird thing about getting into a certain sin, and I only say that because once upon a time I joined a cult, and they made me actually believe
Hey, this is our second cult member on the show.
it was a weird experience. I'll probably tell y'all about that later, but at one point I really did think to myself, like, maybe I don't really need that much porn in my life, because I used to frown upon it, but I used to enjoy it too. Like, the way how it was, I would watch so much of it that I would enjoy it, but at some point it was like you enjoy it so much you start not liking it.
So I think it's not something
Resolution too low?
people. It's not something that people need to be like obsessed with. Like, if you're obsessed with anything, it's bad, bro. If you're beating it till you bleed, that's
I have a joke about that, but we not even gonna talk about that. No,
that's a problem.
Funny thing is, like, once upon a time, I used to watch so much porn. Is like I started realizing, like, at some point, the redundancy was getting annoying. Like, at certain levels, I would watch.
That, I mean, okay, so literally, like,
several tabs deep, and then like you would see, oh my god, they're all the same with like my brother and my stepbrother, like, and all that. I'm like, I'd rather watch.
And this is why men cheat.
I mean, and then there's the other thing about like when I was watching this one that I have a certain type now. I like crazy chicks because they're willing to do crazy shit I'm willing to do. And then there's like,
do you think that's because of the desensitization that you have to porn?
Yeah, because you know the weird fetish I want to happen to me in real life. One day I just want to be robbed by a chick like for the dick, like not for money. Like just come out of nowhere and say like just like in an alley she got the gun to my ear and say like,
give me the dick now, nigga.
Like, that's
break that shit off, bro.
Like come on, can we talk about? No, I don't want to talk. I want to gag. I want to go. I want to feel that dangly thing.
This is the first time I've ever met a man with a rape fetish.
Like it's not rape if I secretly want it. It's just like I technically didn't have to pay for her to do what I wanted her to do. Like that's
just make sure that you not only have a safe word, but like a white flag in their pocket.
No, there's no safe word. Just get like rob me till I'm done.
So what you want is called CNC, consensual, non-consensual. Here's how much porn I watch. I watch enough porn that at one point it does become very like porn. That's
oh
what
my
I'm saying.
god!
Like,
you
porn
remember,
is repetitive.
So you know how much I hate this show, but there are iconic things. How I Met Your Mother, the slap bet, where they're like, I can either slap you 10 times right now or 3 times whenever I want forever.
Do you have a slap fetish? Do you like being slapped? Is that what you're alluding
No,
to?
I'm saying
have you ever had a
this
girl
is like,
ask
look,
you to slap her in bed?
It depends on where we're asking. Like, cause
God, you guys suck.
That doorstop thing, like, like that would be funny. I think my girl.
Have you ever
once.
had a girl ask you to slap her?
Where?
While you're fucking.
So it was weird. She once told me that she wanted me to dominate her, but she didn't. At the time, she didn't know that's what she was into. And it's like she said, "You can choke me and you can bite me," and I was like,
last thing
weird,
that she knew, Milk had a triple-double with 30 points.
God,
this is why I think porn is okay for people to watch, because you don't know what you be into sometimes, right? And there is like, yes, there.
Also, it's like studying game tape.
I don't think that, right? Like, I think there is a problem with porn, and I will get to that. Like, I did bring this up for a reason, huh? Like,
you said hot. This is ice.
No, I said hot. I'm my bad. Hot. But I did bring this up for a reason, not just to make you uncomfortable. I think the fact that people get so uncomfortable about pornography and talking about fucking and like what we're into is crazy. It's 2024. It is literally Pride Month, and we still have people in this country that think it is just some weird kink to be homosexual, right? Or to be transgender. Right? Like that it's a mental health it's a mental health thing. And
I joke about the whole like Catholic shame thing, but it legit is something I've had to like try to conquer for years.
I mean, you literally just tried to divert this conversation like 4 or 5 times. I was going somewhere with it.
All right, keep going.
And I think what needs to happen, because there should be, it's weird to me that something so many people enjoy watching, and it has been like a historic part of our culture for.
I mean, prostitution is the oldest profession in the world.
Burlesque shows, right? Like people like strip clubs have been a thing. So like that's what I'm saying. So if we get rid of porn, then they're just gonna come for strip clubs next, because that's where everybody's gonna go since there's no more porn.
And then they're gonna enforce the no blowjob laws.
Then we go back to being like fucking turned on by ankles and shit. right? Because everybody's dressed up like in hijabs, and it's so weird to me that the same people that think that like Hamas and fucking the Palestinians are wrong because their women walk around in hijabs and covered from head to toe are also telling us that we can't fucking watch porn.
But Sydney Sweeney
like
is a goddamn Republican icon now.
Yeah. So I think what needs to happen is if we just accepted this part about ourselves, right? Like like no more of like the fucking repressed sexual nature shit, right? Because like everybody likes fucking, bro, and like even if
we said last episode, boobs are one of the highest approval ratings on the planet. Like it's up there with food.
Even if you think fucking is only for childbirthing, you still like to do the shit, right? So like, why are we shaming people for enjoying?
It's like I love being a mom. Do you love being a mom, or did you love those 2 minutes?
Wait, so let me get this straight. If I'm not mistaken. So we're saying that the reason why the thing is a problem to begin with is because we're looking at it from a point of tolerance instead of acceptance. Correct? Like
I guess not tolerance, but more of like a
taboo.
Yeah, it's still yes. Like porn is still taboo, and that's part of the excitement. Like, ooh, I'm logging on to Pornhub. I gotta turn the lights down and plug my headphones in and make sure I'm not letting anybody see me fucking.
But no,
it, bro.
Think about it. Like, cause you're on the right like money with it. I'm like, as a thing about it, people know that porn exists. They bitch about it, but it's like they're not really gonna do anything big about it because they still want it too.
Yeah.
Like the same way how it's set up. Like everybody has a certain fantasy, whether they know how to address it or not, that makes it so that they get by the day easier just knowing like that's a thought.
I will say that it is 2024, and I would be more embarrassed at somebody walking in on me using my charcoal face mask than walking in watching porn.
Are you just watching it or are you cranking it? Because I think
why not both?
Right. Yo, because like what I'm really saying here is like, you know, there is a whole like
I turn off my phone when I do the charcoal face peel.
There is a whole anti-masturbation movement online, right? Like there are people who are literally against like anybody, not just men, but like women masturbating. Like nobody thinks women should have any pleasure, period.
Wow,
anyway.
what is wrong?
There are two countries where, according to last year's Pornhub statistics, there are 2 countries where more women watch porn than men.
Which countries are these? Because I want to know.
Ukraine and Colombia.
Yeah,
you know the sad part is Colombian women look good, but Ukraine women, I ain't never seen them. I feel like they should masturbate. I don't know what they men look like. Like let them have nice things. The fuck?
Yo, Ukraine, the Eastern Europe is where they have those weird fucking brothels where it's like you can literally you walk in, you pay them at them, and it's like
the one with that cream.
Like,
what is it, Russian creamers or something? Like
they just laid
that
out.
That sounds like a mixed drink.
They're laid out in these booths, and it's like these dudes are just like all in a room, like, and like some of them are getting ahead, and the other ones are just it's crazy.
I'm happy for them.
And now I'm like, maybe this is why Candace Owens, because
hey.
porn banned, because it's like, yeah, if you see that shit like that is going on, then why wouldn't you want to support Ukraine?
You know, the funny thought in my head that goes round and round often is like thinking, I enjoy porn every once in a while, but it's like at some points I'm like, I want it to be something different, because like the way how my mind's set up when I watch is like, the fantasy I have now is different from the ones they used to have back in the day. Like,
so here's where I get into what I was really saying about changing the culture around pornography, right? And especially because the porn industry is toxic as fuck.
Oh,
right?
Indeed.
I don't like I said, I don't know how deep you be into it, right? But like I've been watching since like fucking HBO days, right?
Oh yeah, like, I watch Cinemax,
real
HBO,
sex and shit like that.
I think Trace, what's her name? There's a lady last name Morgan or whatever. She had big boobs and blonde or whatever. She actually was like my sexual awakening. It's some chick. I know her last name is Morgan or something like that. I don't want to say the wrong name because like I think I'm about to say Tracy Morgan, but I think her name is something else Morgan. And Katie Morgan. She was some porn bimbo chick. And she was my sexual awakening when I was like, I got really weird, like I got a super strong erection and it hurted, but it felt good. And I was like, oh, I think her name is Katie Morgan. I don't really care, but it was like, I was watching it and it's like, at that point I was like, I know I like titties now. I just know I do. I've always enjoyed them before, but today is the day I want a titty in my hand.
Listen. Porn industry is bad toxic.
I was very. I remember when I wanted to be one. I wanted to be a porn star.
And I don't think that it needs to continue to be that way. Especially, it may have had to start out like that because, like, yeah, it's been such a taboo subject for a really long time. Yeah. But I feel like, especially now with the advent of OnlyFans, there is more autonomy for people to take, or there is more room for people to take autonomy in the way that they are presented in this form. And I think that the rise in like suicides and things like that, like there's a fucking porn star now who's been in like a fucking coma for the last 4 to 5 months. I cannot remember what her name is. Emily Willis has been in a fucking coma for like the last 4 months over like an OD, right? And it's the typical stereotype of drugged up young teen needs money so she gets into porn. And I feel like, but the porn industry really isn't a whole lot of that now, especially with things like OnlyFans. And if we allow...
I mean, we said Cardi B is now like the creative director at Playboy.
Yeah, and if we allowed more control and more autonomy for the performers, just like we see in other spaces, more control going to the workers, I think the porn industry could be healthier, and therefore the stigma around porn being so harmful wouldn't be bad.
Well, what would you change if you had the power to change that?
I have an idea.
Give more power to the performers, right?
Continue.
Well, if we're going to be talking about giving more power to porn stars, how about we talk about Donald Trump? I was gonna
segue into that. I was gonna say a sex worker literally may have just saved the country. And I think the day that Donald Trump was convicted of a felony should also be National Sex Worker Day.
We'll be back after this break.
It's 11:11. Let's get it right.
Hey, shout out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34.
Count them
up. I
up.
like your enthusiasm.
Count them up.
I ain't never gave that many fucks about numbers, but like the fact that you got that far that fast was really hard work.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
11, 12.
I miss advertisements that just like their jingle was their phone number.
1-800-EMPIRE.
Today.
JG Wentworth 877 cash now.
Yo, yeah.
Yo, don't even get me started on Blues Brothers. 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Now that's my number.
Hey, listen. What
Stormy Daniels' number was 130,000.
That sounds wild.
Don
like
shouldn't have done was got Stormy Daniels, because as I said, what was it? May 31st. It was May 29th. May 29th should be National Sex Worker Day, because good Lord, she did something that history didn't think was possible. She got a president convicted of a felony. Bruh.
I never, ever, ever thought I would hear Wolf Blitzer say the word porn star, let alone hundreds of times.
You know, the funny thing is, I once heard a quote saying, like, hell hath no fury like a woman scorched.
Yeah, that's a classic.
And it just resonates with this situation, because I don't know what the fuck Donald did to her, whether he didn't tip her properly or he just put his finger in the wrong hole. But clearly, she
pause on both of those.
You know, no Diddy, you got that point. You got that.
You definitely. First of all, you got a tip.
I bet she did get a tip.
That's about all he gave her was the tip. Apparently,
a tip of the carrot. A tip of the carrot. You feel me? Like,
if you listen to the testimony.
She was listening to some test, all right. Some test tickles.
This nigga didn't pass the vibe. The vibe check. Nah, bro. It's not looking good for you, man.
All 12 jurors convicted him. There was one juror who exclusively got their news from Twitter and Truth Social, and that person convicted Trump.
Because it was that obvious. And you know, the whole time, like, every online lawyer is saying that this is the weakest case that he is facing, right? Like, this, by far, should have been the easiest case for him to beat. And they convicted this nigga on all 34 charges, dog. All 34 fucking charges. Damn, son. Another one. The judge sitting up there playing DJ Khaled, right? Like, god damn. Oh. You think they gonna send him to jail?
No.
I feel like he might do something.
No, like, it's crazy, because, like, they're like, felons can't be voters, but there's no thing that says that felons can't be elected president, and it just makes me think, it's like, I think James Madison missed a few things.
It wouldn't be the first time somebody has run for office while in jail, right? Not presidency, but Louisiana had a dude run for governor while he was serving time in jail, and won, if I remember correctly. That guy was a Democrat, though, but he was also very Trump-like in the way that he just kind of threw around his power. And Trump has been very vocal about increasing the aggression with which he led his chaotic reign, right? And I'm sorry, I'm no fucking Trump apologist here on this podcast to any of our libertarian listeners who may have been listening, right? But
you saw the clip of him at the Libertarian convention, right?
This is the only time this nigga has been booed, and shout out to y'all for that.
I do think it's funny that the people who were caught on video looked exactly like what I imagine a libertarian looking like.
Also, apparently, they're the libertarian head of the Libertarian Party is like LGBTQ friendly and stuff like that. So,
like, if I walked into the Libertarian convention, it's not gonna be hard for me to put a Magic the Gathering commander pod together.
But when I say it's the only time he hasn't been booed, I mean, like, at a rally that he was invited to. Because if I remember correctly, they invited him there. It's not like he just went there out of desperation, right? But, like, so the party organizers invited him there, but the crowd was not receptive to Donald. And I don't know if this is Cat Williams' fault or Kendrick Lamar's fault, but it just seems like the tide is turning.
It's all Cat Williams' fault.
I guess we can blame it all on Cat Williams.
Or we could really go deep and blame it on Shannon.
Hey, yo. I mean, he gave that man some time and energy and soapbox or whatever to talk all this stuff for real. Like, if as soon as you give a person a platform to get it,
Shannon is such an instigator now.
Especially Cat Williams, though, bro. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we should have known.
That man has no chill and he has all the knowledge. It's like you basically gave a super. It's like an unstoppable force and an unmovable object. You feel me? Like
so Bob versus Juggernaut.
Basically, like that's what that is.
A comedy juggernaut. He is a comedy juggernaut.
Like, cause he's gonna say what he's gonna say regardless. Like, it's gonna come out one way or another. It's just the fact, like, you never know the weight of what he's gonna say is what's gonna come out. And the impact from that was crazy.
It doesn't hit as hard because he's on Ozempic.
It's literally been carrying us throughout the year because this Trump trial is just another example of a crazy outcome from what you would insist is a pretty solid pattern that we've been following here, right? Like, there is this heavy distortion that has followed the Trump presidency, and at times it does feel really bleak. Like, what fucking timeline do we live in where people think being woke is a bad thing, right? Like, you literally have comedians running around talking about they can't tell jokes anymore because people get too easily offended. And sure, you could say something about the ability of people to be able to vocalize their offenses at the moment, but I don't think anybody's getting any more easily offended than Gen Xers and Boomers have proven they can be. I mean, they can't even handle people watching porn, right? So, like, when we see shit like them calling for secession and civil war because their guy has been convicted on 34 charges of paying off a porn star to keep quiet so he can become elected as president. I know they hate when we do this, but I'm gonna do it because somebody needs to do it. Could you imagine if Barack Obama had been convicted of felony charges for paying off a porn star?
Oh, indeed. That would be off the charts, known all over the place. But it's even crazy.
Cherokee D-ass, like... Yo, he paid off fucking Cherokee D so she wouldn't tell him the show.
So many deep fakes.
Yo, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, I just had a moment. I was like, Cherokee D, that's...
Yes.
Thank you for all the work you do if you see this.
Yeah.
Thank you for...
Yeah.
You helped a lot of us become the men we are today. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Could you fucking imagine, bro, if Barack Obama had been exposed for fucking having an illicit affair with a porn star?
All I know...
Use campaign money. Use campaign money to fucking... They already don't want to believe that he's a legally born citizen. Right? Now, hold on. I'm not even done cooking. Imagine black people protested everywhere. Like they did during the OJ trial because Barack Obama had been convicted of a felony on 34 charges of giving a fucking porn star hush money. Right?
Boy, like, not my berry, not my rock. Let him go and sell his cock. Like it is what it is, yo. Like, I find it wild thinking about how there's certain things that everybody's held to a certain standard of, and it's like Trump has gotten away with so much. Is the fact that it's gone this long and this far.
That's it. And they will literally look at this and they will go, already, they're spinning it. It's a hit job. They gave me this fucking crazy case because they want y'all to hate me, right? Like Drake shit. They want y'all to believe I got an 11-year-old daughter somewhere that I don't pay attention to.
I mean, I don't find it hard to believe. I'm pretty sure around the height of his career, whatever, when he got that Degrassi spot and then all the other stuff, he's probably spreading it all over the place, like spreading his Drake.
Donald wasn't on Degrassi. What are you talking about?
For all we know, he's probably behind in the cutscenes. He's probably fucking one of the youngins. Him and Drake was split roasting the shorty. No, we ain't gonna do it.
You know, it's wild. He is the first person from the Home Alone 2 cast that has been convicted on 34 charges.
Even Macaulay Culkin, who was out here doing...
Definitely a crackhead.
He's a good father now.
It's impressive being a crackhead and still able to date Mila Kunis.
And who's probably also...
Mila Kunis? You mean, what's her name? Brenda Song?
He dated her too, though, I feel like. Yeah, Macaulay Culkin is out here slanging it, bro. Like, and he's knocked down some bad joints. Like, just like when you find out Prince was out here knocking down bad joints, as weird as that nigga is, right? That was, right? R.I.P.
He wants to be your lover.
Donald Trump wanted to be Stormy Daniels' lover and is now having to pay the price. Surveys are coming in. You thought I was going to say polls again. Surveys are coming in, and they are reporting that a decent amount, if around 10%, I think, which is enough to turn the tides of an election, no longer find Donald Trump, suitable for his run as presidency. And with this just being the first of many felony convictions that he's potentially facing down the line, it seems kind of haphazard now that
I think it's 94 in total.
Put all of their eggs in this basket again, right? And I mean, this is coming from somebody who also thinks it's crazy that the Democrats put all of their eggs in the Joe Biden basket again, right? When gay-ass Pete Buttigieg is sitting, right? It's like, no, I mean, could you imagine? Happy Pride Month, everybody. Could you imagine Pete Buttigieg and Donald Trump in a debate? I'm just...
Yeah. You got this one, Ziggy? Talk your mind. I see it on your face.
No.
Elaborate. No.
Elaborate.
I cannot imagine that.
I actually can't either, which is why I want to see it. Because I feel like, once again, we've been here before. We did Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I'm not saying that the country isn't better under Joe Biden than it would be under Trump, because yes, this is me saying that it is currently better under Joe Biden. The economy and everything is better under Joe Biden than it would be under Trump, because I'm saying out of those two choices, right? Because, like, let's be real, all Trump did was make that fucked up tax plan change that fucked up everybody's shit, and then completely royally screwed us during COVID. Mexico is about...
And stacked the Supreme Court.
Mexico is about to elect a Jewish woman as president, and we are still over here arguing about whether or not transgender people should be allowed to read books to children. Or if children should be allowed to read books. Right? Like, and we're at the top of the game. How? I don't get it. Like, China is literally developing like a nationwide chat GPT, and we're letting Elon Musk give us Grok. What is its name? Is it Kronk? Yeah.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Wrong
lever.
And
I don't necessarily. I'm not somebody who necessarily thinks that there needs to be a government chat GPT or a U.S. federal issued Bitcoin, right? But I mean, the way motherfuckers is playing around with Bitcoin, like, we already have countries who are accepting that as currency, and I don't think we need to go the way of crypto to back our currency. But when you have things like issues like China going up and buying up all the gold that it fucking can, and I'm not a precious metals pusher either, like, I'm not one of those cash for gold kind of guys, but the tables are shifting. Things are shifting. Tides are shifting, right? And the way this country is headed, considering the direction this country is headed in, with the two presidential candidates that we have, that we've just settled on. We've just fucking settled on that shit, bro. And it makes me so fucking mad, because we're really like, we can't do any better. We can't do any better than literally a douche and a turd sandwich. That's like South Park. We've been here before.
I find it funny thinking about it. Like, the funny thing about when you bring up the fact about currency, I was listening to something on Instagram, because Instagram tells me all the books and facts now, or whatever.
Hey, shout out to that meta news feed.
And as I was looking at it, it was saying something about how, like, once upon a time, we had currency over in, I guess, Greece or sometime in Roman times, and they had, like, whole golden nuggets that were just in the shape of a coin. And it's like, the reason why inflation exists is because it's really just the depreciation of the single dollar we have now. So it's like, it just keeps on losing its value because they keep on finding ways to stretch it to make sure there's more of it. But instead, they're making it depreciate because they're taking down the value of the mineral it's created out of. For instance, it started off with a gold nugget or whatever. Somewhere down the line, they started thinning it out by, like, shaving off more of the gold to make more gold. And then they just started putting other materials in it, so it's like, it wasn't even gold anymore. It was copper, it was nickel, it was something else, it was something else, it was something else. Now we have the currency we have now, and it's like, because the ideal of how to, like, keep on making more money has gotten so big, it has now depreciated to the full level of, like, almost zero. Something you were always excited about. Like, go for it.
You literally just described what's wrong with the stock market, bro. It's speculation is what Bernie wanted to attack, and it's part of, like, the whole game stocks thing, the short selling. We operate under a system of debt now. It's, we borrow this much money because we promise you we can make this much money, and now they are literally, like, selling shares that have been sold off that don't really exist anymore, because how do you sell a share of a share of a share, right? And then it's a fucking Ponzi scheme, and only the people at the top are getting rich because they're the ones who actually have the ownership of the production, right? Like, except for we're the ones that actually are the product. Literally, the new gold is data. That's why data science jobs, the data firms like Cambridge Analytica, they are making all the fucking money. That's Facebook is such a big fucking company because corporations can literally make these targeted like profiles that are like Van Gogh paintings of who you are just based on your online profile. That's why they don't want you to get offline. That's why endless scroll is a fucking thing, and the person who developed the endless scroll code is like a fucking billionaire now.
Oh yeah, no,
it's like not having clocks in a casino.
Oh, it's addictive. It's funny, like, you say that. It reminds me of how a lot of movies give out the Da Vinci Code of how a lot of things going around. So, you ever watch that movie called Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief?
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
They had that thing about what was it about? They were in there and it was like some garden or whatever. And it's like they keep eating the lilies and they've been in there for all this time. And there's like people that have been there since like the 1970s, the 1700s, all this stuff. And I'm like, what, nigga? And it's basically saying like there's things that out there to like distract us and keep us captivated, but it's like what's even sadder is that we let it captivate us because as human beings we always want a certain level of connection, but we never know how we want to connect. So it's like whether it be we want to gamble so we can find that little bit of high that we're chasing, or it be like through that endless scroll because it's finding that right amount of dopamine from like us tapping and saying, oh, this is funny, this is really cool, I like this. It's terrible, but it's funny because the way how it's set up, it's the right amount of lose yourself and at the same right amount of like feeling connected.
No, you're right though, bro. And I feel like the elites, the people at the top, the people who control the industry, right, have like really figured out, or they thought they figured out a way to manufacture that pattern of existence that we've grown accustomed to. But they just actually, I feel like they really just keep proving that they don't have as good of a grasp as they thought they had on it, right? Like, they keep proving that they're so out of touch. Like I keep saying Happy Pride Month, but like the LGBT community is online right now talking about how they are so over all these corporations painting rainbow colors on shit every time Pride Month comes around because you want me to shop at Target. Right? Like, or another dude is going viral because he's like, look, they're pushing the gay agenda on our children. They have unisex bathing suits that you can tuck your nuts into.
Why do we give a fuck what Buffalo Wild Wings has to say?
I think it's got to do something with like the level of carrot and stick meets like, you know, the two-way mirror situation. So it's like
carrot and stick meets meat?
There you go, Diddy. No, what I'm saying is like this, like, I've had this concept of certain sorts, like, when you've got your head in the game, whatever, when you're really, like, trying to survive the best you can because, like, the water is rushing, all this is coming towards you at the right amount of, like, you're distracted by what's going on in front of you that you're not paying around what's going on beside you. It's like your world is really closing in on you to the point all you see is right what's like surrounding you. You don't realize there's actually like an upper hole and it's been watching you the whole time. So it's like everything that's going on around us has us distracted so we can be like gone with the wind for simple shit. Like for instance, lottery. Yeah. Like everybody participates in it or whatever. You notice how Baltimore is about as broke as it fucking gets? And it's like,
I read a book that says anybody who participates in a lottery is fucked.
Because basically, where are they getting all this money from if your city can't even really get the money to like fix your streets, fix and bring schools, get this and that?
It's a poor people tax. It's just another way that they tax poor people, unfortunately, with the hopes and chances that you might hit the streak where you are one of the the one person out of the millions of odds that wins the streak, right? Like you literally have a greater chance, and they've said this thousands of times, right? Like this is nothing new, but you have a greater chance of getting hit by a bus on your way to cash in your lottery ticket than you have of actually winning the lottery.
And it's funny though, it's like, cause I was mad watching that damn movie. Like it's some black movies that exist just to make black people be like, oh my god, I wish that. I was like, lottery ticket made me so fucking mad. I'm like, I watched it and I was like, And it's like, even with that passionate moment where Brandon T. Jackson was like, nigga, I'm broke.
Yeah.
I can't eat. And you got the power to change that. I'm like, what in the Dr.
Yeah. That's where we're at.
Dr. King name?
It's a good ass movie.
It's a good movie. Just because a movie's good doesn't always mean you should be so happy to like. I loved it like for the.
That's probably how Trump felt.
Like, it's such a good movie, but it's like at the same time, like, you gotta. Mind you, we get distracted. Like, we're so busy saying, like, it's a good movie. Like, we're not realizing it's got us sitting there saying, like, I really want that movie to get all the love it should do. Like, hold up, fuck that. Why are we being so happy about something that we... Because
we're still talking about the Trump trial, right?
Winning
of
the
course,
lottery
like,
ticket.
it's a bit
Trump
of
didn't
all
win
of
the
it.
lottery ticket. No, I think we moved on from that. It wasn't too much more to say about the Trump trial thing, other than we are, sitting on the precipice of a shift in culture, and I think, kind of like with the Kendrick and Drake battle, the Trump and Joe will really help determine the direction that this country shifts in culturally, because we are witnessing a foundational realignment of all kinds of different industries, right, from top to bottom.
Oh my God, could you imagine what if presidential elections was based on them niggas having back and forth diss records on one another? like, Joe's not like us. Joe's not like us. Joe's not like us. He can't even walk on his own. I can't trust him. Like, what? Like, I can see Trump's orange ass really trying to crip walk out there, like, saying, like, fuck Joe, he can't dance like this.
He's gonna do that weird jerk off dance.
Democrat hoe. Democrat hoe. Democrat hoe. Like, I'm
Trump
not...
dances the way Charles Barkley eats churros.
I'm not even gonna lie. It would be funny if Biden came out with a what is it called? Like a meet the Trumps. Like,
yo,
dear Bianca, I'm sorry you had to marry that weird man. He's orange. You could have got you some real
Bianca. I'm sorry that man's your father.
Yo, like, that would go crazy.
That would go so crazy, because Meet the Trump.
Dear Donald, did you know you have a son? His name is Barron.
Like, I would watch that. I would watch that.
You. Every day he grows up more and more spiteful.
Oh my God, I like that. That is crazy funny, and I love it.
Yo,
I would watch. I feel bad, but I would listen to that music.
Daughter wanting to change his last name. Oh my God.
Oh my God, what if Biden really released, like, one of his children is actually, like, no, one of Trump's children is actually Putin's kid or whatever?
Alright, I got a question.
Kamala Harris coming in singing on the hood.
I got a question and a topic change.
Go for it.
What do you think is gonna be greater? Trump's convictions for this trial or Luka Doncic's points per game in the NBA Finals? Put the Wii Sports music.
Did I do it right? Did I do it? Yes, I right.
Yeah, no, we definitely do that drop. The answer is Trump conviction. I don't think Luka's gonna average 30.
Because I didn't know who the fuck that was. I was like, I found you on that. On my language.
So, the NBA Finals, it is the Boston Celtics versus the Dallas Mavericks.
Hey, Celtics in the finals again.
Celtics had the easiest road to the finals I think I've ever seen. They went 12-2 on the way to the finals, and every single team that they played had their best player injured.
You watch basketball, Milk?
I know it exists. I think I've watched a lot of good movies.
When you're in Applebee's, that's the TV that you watch, right? Is the one that's playing basketball.
That's clearly the one I have to. I'm like, everything else I don't.
Playing cricket. I mean, you could watch rugby.
I'm weird enough. I wanted to actually play at one point, but it's like I couldn't get enough meat on my bones. Like, no Diddy. I couldn't get enough like weight and everything because you got to be a big burly
motherfucker. You have to be
you feel me?
sturdy to play rugby. They really be taking motherfuckers out. Athletes nowadays are just built different, which is why I'm super excited for this Celtics-Mavs matchup because
it's got its storylines. Kyrie now playing against Boston. He used to be a Celtic. Kristaps playing against the Mavs. He used to be a Mav.
Right.
Kevin Garnett used to play for the Timberwolves, and he used to play for the Celtics. So he's rooting against the Mavericks twice now in a row.
Yeah. It's a lineup I didn't see coming. Right, like
I definitely didn't. I mean, the Celtics in the finals I saw. It was almost an expectation this season.
Right.
But I feel like it's nothing like.
But
a
the
story
Mavs
like
were
that.
not expected to be there at all.
Weren't we thinking like Celtics,
Nuggets, like Celtics, Nuggets,
or Suns? I thought.
Yeah, it was like Celtics, Nuggets, or Celtics, Clippers, but none of us had the Mavs in the final.
That sounds like a good dinner. I don't know why. It's like Celtics nuggets. That's like cilantro and like right amount of spinach and nuggets or something like that.
I was thinking grilled nuggets with cabbage.
Honestly,
potatoes.
the finals
That's not bad.
isn't
That's
even
not-
really the biggest basketball story either.
Tell us more.
Turner has lost the rights to the NBA, and therefore next year is the last year of Shaq, Chuck, Kenny, and Ernie.
Damn.
So
How they gonna
inside
take that?
the NBA has been on for how long?
35 years.
35.
32. 32 years.
And it hasn't always been Shaq, Ernie.
No, so
And-
Shaq came in about 11 years ago.
Right.
Shaq Diesel.
So-
It was Ernie for a little, like a season or two, and then Kenny joined.
Yeah.
And then Charles joined in like 2002.
Yeah.
And then
Charles-
Shaq
yeah,
joined in
been
like
on for a while.
2013, and that's been Shaq, Chuck, Ernie,
So
and
it's
Kenny ever
been-
since.
yeah.
And that's like the Knights of the Round Table.
In its current form, it's been that way since 2013. Right. So that's still crazy. Over 10
It is the funniest live show on television, and that's counting Saturday Night Live.
well,
Coming at you live from Saturday night. I'm
Saturday, it's Sunday.
Hey, true. It's Monday night.
Nito, stat of the
Saturday
night.
Night Live has not been funny for a long time, but we're not here to rag on Saturday Night Live. Apparently, we have to mourn inside the NBA because, as we discussed just a moment ago, things are shifting. Tides are changing, and the streaming bubble is kind of like
The
settling
big
down.
thing. So the NBA sold, like NBC has
IP.
gotten some of their rights. Apple, I believe, has gotten some of the rights, or no, Amazon, and ESPN has some game rights. But
IP is
the
being
big
consolidated.
thing people are hoping is Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny are going to get jobs doing commentary. The big question is,
Yeah.
are they going to be able to get Ernie? And Ernie is honestly the most important of the four.
You would say. No, but I do get where you're coming from, right? Because Ernie is really kind of like the control.
He's the only way that show it stays remotely on track.
Yeah, and I feel
He's
like,
also a great instigator.
I feel like at this point, what we will probably see is them doing joint commentary on other panel shows.
One thing is, people mentioned like Chuck or Shaq opening their own production company and literally hiring the entire inside crew.
So it would be Shaq, because I feel like Chuck probably has the money to do that, but Shaq is more the type to do that at this point. I mean, the dude.
I'm pretty
is
sure
like,
they all have that kind of money, even Ernie at this point.
The
But
dude
like,
is like a police.
but
officer.
just remember, like Ernie is the one that keeps it all on track.
It would
But
be like
Ernie is
Shaq
also the
at
one
50.
that asked Chuck to show everybody what it would be like eating churros while drinking a Shaq soda.
It would be like Shaq and 50 Cent opening up their own sports network or some shit like that.
I like how the only way to describe Shaq is Shaq.
It's interesting to see the way TV is changing, right? Like, and how streaming is really forcing this consolidation of programming, and while cable fights for its life, and we are seeing what is happening to our beloved cable shows.
I mean, I'm at subscription services month to month at this point.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be, right? Because at this point, it's like, I'm not a Netflix has nothing to watch, Hulu has nothing to watch kind of person, right? But it is bespoke TV, so yeah, like, if you have all of them, if you're not one of these people who has like bundles like Disney is now pushing,
There's a lot
the
of empty
bundles.
calories.
And so why would you keep Netflix if you got Netflix for Bridgerton and Bridgerton is done, right? Or Disney Plus if, you know, you got it for X-Men 97 and X-Men 97 is done.
Yeah,
Right?
I was
Like-
literally sitting on the couch after Doc and I finished episode 10, I immediately canceled my Disney Plus subscription.
That's how it goes. That's how it's supposed to go.
And lots of people are, lots of people are getting hip now to the fact that they don't have to be beholden to these streaming services like you would a contract, and it's forcing...
Some people, I feel like, forget that they have Amazon Prime.
Well, yeah,
because they do it for the shipping, and then forget that, like, oh, you get this entire TV catalog, too.
That's what you mean, yeah. And Amazon Prime has lots of good programs. Netflix has lots of good programs. It has The Boys, it has Invincible, it has Fallout. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like, don't sleep on the Childish Gambino also just dropped it. Donald Glover dropped a new Childish Gambino album.
That man is a treasure.
Yeah, and it deserves more flowers, like we were talking about. And I just, like I said, what I find interesting is what is happening in the way that some of these IPs are being divided and consolidated. I mean, right now we have these reboots and these remakes in the box offices. Like, there's another fucking Planet of the Apes movie, another King Kong movie came out.
Another one.
But we also have, like, new interesting properties, like, what is it, the movie The Fall Guys, which is, or The Fall Guy, which is a kind of 2024 revamp on, like, rom-coms and stuff like that. And I know Dan was making a joke about people not going or wanting to go see rom-coms anymore, but it's actually doing better the longer that it sits, or the longer that it's sat in movie theaters. And then once it hit streaming services, people really loved it. And we keep seeing a lot of that, especially with, now we're looking at Furiosa, which isn't doing great during its opening run because it's facing movies like Garfield and The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And people are saying it's a good movie, but...
Some people are saying it's better than Fury Road.
It's just not getting people to the movie theaters, right?
I'll tell you what the crazy thing is. The way how streaming services have killed the movie-going experience is like...
That's it.
Between somewhere in COVID and realizing we don't always have to go to the theater to watch certain things, like, let's put a really big coin right here, right quick. There's a 50-50. I'm going to flip an imaginary coin, and you're going to say the first thing that comes to mind when I say watch a movie. Would you rather watch it in the house and watch a movie on your television in your house, ass naked with your own snacks that you got door dashed over here? Like, it could be Jamaican food.
You're welcome.
You're right. Thank you for all your hard work and services, Dan. And it could be Jamaican food, it could be ramen, it could be shit. It could be Berea tacos with the extra juice, and you can get a cheesecake on the side from somewhere else. Or would you rather go to the movies, eat the nachos they give you for overpriced, the popcorn they give you for overpriced, the slushie they give you, trash but overpriced.
Right.
And it's
so you're hitting on something that the whole reason I brought this article up, right? Because later when you go into the Vulture article that was talking about, and the title of the article is "Movies Like Furiosa Were Never Meant to Save Hollywood," right? And essentially what the article is saying is Furiosa is a good movie, but because it's not doing bang out box office numbers, it's going to get overshadowed, it's going to be forgotten, and it'll suffer the fate that so many other good movies that have come out just recently, like Fall Guys, excuse me, that...
Is that the Ryan Gosling movie?
Hold on. No, that is the other guys.
No, that's the Fall Guys. The other guys is the movie with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
And what's the one with the Ryan Gosling and the other guy, the guy who used to play as Robin Hood or something like? Or no, he played as Gladiator.
No, that's I know what you're talking
Russell
about.
Crowe.
Yeah, that's an older movie.
That's the Nice Guys.
Yeah, that's Nice Guys. Yeah, yep. All right. So
and Ryan Gosling's now in a movie called The Fall Guys.
Yeah, or the Fall Guy. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, when he's a stuntman.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah, right. And it's a pretty good rom-com, which Hollywood was almost certain was a dead genre, right? So much so they're not investing their money into it, and it seems like Hollywood is convinced that people will only show up to the movie theaters for already known properties, right? Something that people are already comfortable with.
Well, low-key movie dates are trash.
But people keep, because I think, once again, as I said earlier, what needs to happen is not a revamping of these fucking properties like Hollywood producers think, but a revamping of the movie-going experience. It's like you said, waiting in line, paying for overpriced popcorn, sitting hunched up next to people you have to reserve seats now.
And breathe
right?
their air. You know, people be in there just farting a shit cloud around.
There
like,
are movie theaters, though, in, like, Texas and stuff like that are more of an outing experience. You can order alcohol at the movie theater. You can order dinners and stuff like that. They should have 21 plus movie theaters, right, where you can go and be, like, have an actual date and watch the movie. I know you've seen, there's a viral picture of a movie theater that I think is in, like, the Netherlands somewhere, where they have, like, beds that you can lay on, and, like, who wouldn't pay a little bit extra to go watch a movie where you could lay out and just kind of chill, right? But I also have seen movie theaters for parents, too, right? Where it's, like, there's kind of like a little playground in the movie theater, and the kids can play while still watching the movie, and you're in there with a bunch of other parents. They should have more things like that, right? And I think that is how you get people back out instead of going, well, it'll be on streaming. Like, I'm super disappointed that I didn't get to see Godzilla -1 in theaters, because that movie won, like, fucking Oscars for its special effects and stuff. Like, they're saying it's really great. They're supposed to, rumor has it, they're going to be re-releasing it in black and white in theaters, and I hope I get the chance to go see it if that actually happens.
I saw someone post a meme about it, and they were like, I just watched Godzilla -1, and this whole movie is Black Air Force One energy.
Wait, what is... I want to know about this Godzilla -1. When did that come out?
So, it just came out last year in theaters, and it was another sleeper movie because it didn't do great box office numbers.
It was also a Japanese production.
It was produced by the original studio, I believe, that made Godzilla. So it's back in the hands of the creator, not like the Kong versus Godzilla Warner Brothers energy shit.
Oh, snap.
This is like mad kaiju shit, right? And it's... apparently it's phenomenal. And I think it's on streaming services now, but it's one of those movies that it was a sleeper everybody loves and everybody's talking about, but not a lot of people got the chance to see it because it was pulled from theaters prematurely, I feel like. And lots of movies are getting pulled from theaters prematurely because they're not doing great opening weekend numbers. Right, so that's another thing that this article talks about, maybe changing the expectations of, like, wanting movies to be, like, out of the gate bangers, and it's like, you know, if it's not doing like 130 billion, you know, especially like Mad Max or Furiosa, right? I think they spent like something like 23 million on that movie, and it has yet to make that kind of budget back. So it's, you know, when Hollywood is convinced that we want to see these overblown these bloated superhero movies, and that's the reason why Martin Scorsese and them are saying, like, going to the movies now is like going to an amusement or riding an amusement park ride.
You know, if they're so convinced in telling us what we think is good, Apple recently did the opposite and had their listeners vote on the 100 greatest albums of all time, and Apple made this list that we can go over right now.
Was it a listener thing? I thought Apple, from what I remember...
An opinion survey curated music ranking of the finest albums in history created by the streaming service Apple Music. Its team crafted... Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Its team crafted the list alongside a group of artists that included Pharrell, J Balvin, Maren Morris, and Charlie XCX. Some reception includes Aiden Vaziri from San Francisco Chronicle, the selection sharply contrasts with traditional rankings by legacy music publications such as Rolling Stone. Ben Cohen of the Wall Street Journal wrote the list was, quote, clearly a stunt to get attention and sell subscriptions to Apple Music.
I kind of agree because it is a list of really good albums. I don't know if I think it is the 100 best albums of all time because, and not because of this, but there are just some albums that I feel like were out of place. Ultimately, it culminated in the best album of all time being Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
There's actually a statement from Lauryn Hill's reaction to that. She said, I appreciate the acknowledgement, I really do, but I'd be remiss not to acknowledge all of the music and artists who informed and inspired me. The leaders of community and movements that sparked me, the social dynamics and music scenes, both older and current at the time, that intrigued and inspired me to contribute. And it only took 3 days for her to respond to the email for comment.
You know, the funny thing is with I think that it's like it's just the same as how when voting comes into mind, like, you know, the electoral college, like, did they do it via the vast majority or did they do it via the majority of vote in the people in the room? Like, they say it was a majority of people that streams or whatever, but I'm like, some of these names of these different like ones that are involved in this list, you gotta ask, who are listening to these? Like,
so here's the top 10.
Go for it.
Lemonade by Beyonce. Number 9, Nevermind by Nirvana. Number 8, Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. Number 7, Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. 6, Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. 5, Blonde by Frank Ocean. 4, Purple Rain by Prince and the Revolution. Number 3, Abbey Road by the Beatles. Number 2, Thriller by Michael Jackson. And number 1, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill.
You know, maybe I should shut the fuck up. That sounds like a good solid list. I can't even argue that.
I disagree though, bro. And I had to, and you know, if it wasn't for a few,
these are top 10.
Yeah, I know, and
now there
I get it, and what I'm saying is like there were a few saving graces in there, but for ultimately, I feel like the list is not New Balance, but like it's got a leaning towards more modern music.
They have a breakdown, actually, of the number of albums by decade. So the 2020s had 3%, 2010 had 17%, 2000 had 11, 1990s had 23, 80s had 17, 70s had 18. These are all percentages. And I guess if it's top 100, it really just is 1 to 1. So anyway, 1960s had 10, and the 1950s had 1.
So once again, there's an overwhelming majority of modern music.
The most popular genre would be hip-hop/rap with 21.
As a rap fan, I'm not gonna say that there aren't, you know, some heavy classics and that rap hasn't been influential. I mean, especially when most modern genres, like new genres that are coming out, are almost indistinguishable
I'll
from
go
hip-hop
and
music.
While we're going through genres, I'll bring up other albums. So like Mary J. Blige's My Life is 86. Get Rich or Die Tryin' is 82. Marshall Mathers LP is 80. Super Duper Fly is 75. Straight Outta Compton is 70. All Eyes on Me, 62. Quemini, 41. Enter the Wu-Tang, 37.
I'm just like, what are the metrics? Like, is this a popularity contest? Like, are we judging by production value, right? Like, are we judging by sales records? Like,
there are a couple of albums on here that I was like, I'm really glad to see that. Like, The Downward Spiral by 9 Inch Nails. Absolutely is a masterpiece. I'm disappointed. No, actually, I'm okay with Master of Puppets being the Metallica album on here at 69. The Velvet Underground and Nico, well deserved. It is a master album at 60. It probably should be higher.
I mean, I'm really happy with the Quemini and Super Duper Fly being on there. The Chronic
Is This
on
It
there.
from my favorite band? The Strokes is on there, which is great.
I think the list would fit any millennial or Gen Z's perspective on what music looks like.
Like, I'm nitpicking this list. I'm not skewering this list.
I think this is a list of music that would go in like the Smithsonian. Like, you know, this was the kind of music that was popular around these couple of decades, right? Like,
I agree.
I don't think that this is like a collegiate list of like exemplary music from each one of these genres. No,
For starters, there's no Miles Davis even like in the top 20, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Like, Coltrane had one album on there.
I'd say it had to be more of a, like, they did a weird vast number of, like, what names and songs have probably been, like, played the most, as well as a certain number of, like, doing the schematics.
It feels like they went over their data and they were like, these are the albums with the most streams on our site.
And then gave it to a bunch of pros and are like, all right, which of these are actually just trash?
Yeah.
And, like, they probably might have did a whole lot of editing themselves, because, mind you, I'm pretty sure in a number of, like, the millions or whatever, you're not just going to come up with, like, only 100. They probably had to cut through some, like, not known names or whatever, unless it's, like, gotten enough to, like, be more than the famous names. Like, for instance, how many times does Drake come up on there? Because I'm pretty sure there's some...
I think Drake has one album on there. Just one.
That means they made a couple other ones, like, just, like, skedaddle.
I was gonna say earlier when we did the Billboard thing, I think this is one of the first times in the last decade that Drake hasn't been in the top 20 or the top 10 on the Billboard. That's just the impact that this feud has had on his career. And, you know, he did just drop that new single with Sexy Red. So
I mean...
on the BBL beat.
I can't even lie. That part was the only good part about that song. I can't lie. The song itself is trash until he gets to the BBL Drizzy, and he just starts making a really good, like, little collective bar. And I'm like, man, you just started off with that. Why would you even make me sit through this whole 5 minutes? I just wanted to hear the thing they had on the...
Kendrick on the BBL Drizzy.
No, he's done. He's done.
He didn't even diss Metro.
No, they put it like this. Drake forgot to pay his Illuminati tax. So that's why they came for his ass as hard as they did, and goodness knows they got him good. Like, they got him, full Diddy. They put him into a bukkake / he was the little white girl sitting in that room with all them big burly men or whatever, saying like,
feel like a shame ritual, didn't it?
Oh my God, they ran the super duper train on his ass. It was terrible.
It felt a little bit like a shame ritual.
I felt kind of bad. Then I was like, nah, I'm good, because I'm pretty sure if they make him feel something again, like both him and Kendrick came out of here better men for that. Like, Drizzy gave a good portion of his old sensitive self back, especially at the end of that ass whooping he took. I mean, that rap. And then you said, like, this is really good. Get the pen working again.
Yo,
I wish.
And then this nigga's like summer vibes coming, and he's posting stupid memes and like samurai. But it just, alright, so it makes me feel like, if this was a shame ritual, how much money do you think they paid Kendrick to participate? Right? Like, if
that
we're
nigga did that for free, he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this just for us.
But if we're talking Illuminati shit, right? Like, Kendrick is like a fucking Hebrew Israelite now, right? Like, so, like, you think Kendrick is really pulling Illuminati shame hit jobs for nothing? Off the gratis?
Bitch, be humble. Sit down. You know what he about. Like, he might be doing it just because, like, mind you,
I'm actually with Milk on that. I think Kendrick is that diabolical.
Like, he probably, like, mind you, he been hating this man for so long. It's like
that you think the Illuminati could come to him off all the.
I think they didn't even have to. Like, they probably had somebody else.
They probably knocked at his door, and Kendrick's like, "I have been waiting for you."
Like, he rolled
up his sleeves
and said, like, just find me somebody ready to hate this nigga. I'm with it. Like, just find. Matter of fact, fuck it.
I'm more inclined to believe that they pushed Drake into thinking that he could take on Kendrick Lamar.
That's fucked up in this book.
Yeah, let's pick a fight with a guy who has a Pulitzer Prize.
They literally, because like I don't see, if we're doing like the tinfoil hat like time talk. I don't see.
I would love to see somebody really get like Compton versus Toronto to see how this will go. Like,
that's a perfect segue into the real quick championship ring I wanted to give out.
With 3 in the bottom of 9th inning to become the world champions yet again.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. some really big rings. They need some really nice things. Better be coming with no strings. Better.
Can we do
The
it?
city of Toronto is naming a football stadium after former Mayor Rob Ford.
A former crackhead, Rob.
Dan,
Ford.
stop talking dirty to me. Go ahead.
That's it.
I mean,
They're naming a football stadium after Rob Ford, and this is great. I watched a couple of his old interviews, and he was just like, that question you asked me a few months ago. And they were like, wait, what? You asked me if I smoked crack. Well, do you smoke? Yes, I have smoked crack.
You know, if nothing else, I feel like there's a story for everybody. Like, for instance, before we had the beautiful and lovable Robert Downey Jr., who was known for Iron Man, we had Robert Downey Jr., the fucking terror.
The crackhead.
Yeah.
The man who did so much wrong. And it's like, now it's like we just fucking accept him like the uncle we knew from back then. Like, he would come through.
He's the
make
one with
things
great
lively.
Woodstock stories.
Exactly.
He had a problem, but he's better now.
He's better now. Now, I don't know who the fuck this guys we talking about because I've never been to Compton or wherever.
Rob Ford, he was just the mayor of Toronto.
He was the mayor of Toronto.
That went viral for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And it's like,
One of the things he was like, yeah, this one lady said, allegedly, that I said I wanted to eat her pussy. Well, I'm a happily married man, and I have enough to eat at home.
I mean, you know, because we got food in the house. You know what I'm saying? That's the epitome of a wife thing to say.
What your wife say? We got pussy at home for you to eat.
Like, you don't even
Like, at that point, this guy was like,
I may
you know how we
smoke
went into the
crack,
Trump
but I'm not
presidency and
stupid.
we were thinking it was gonna be just like funny?
Uh-huh.
That was Ron Ford.
Oh my, like you know what?
It was not everything worked fine. It was just a circus.
I feel like everything in life deserves a little bit of chaos. That's why, like, when it comes down to it, I don't trust anybody that says they're not crazy, because that just lets me know you're worse than crazy. You're insane. If you're not aware in any way or form of yourself,
If you're not stressed the fuck out right now,
then
If
what are
you're
you?
not-
I don't trust you.
And the fact that people are relaxing is just further proof that
no.
nope.
If you're not stressed the fuck out right now, when we are on the prefaces of another Civil War and World War
Then
III
possibly
January
another
6th,
COVID.
Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
and
A new pandemic or another. Like, did you
bird
get that
flu,
weird?
you hear bird flu is going around right now.
That shit's crazy, bro. They came back for a round 2. That's like fight. I'm like,
It's
damn,
just
I didn't
more
know you was
proof
going
that
for
none
it.
of this
Is normal. But what it should be normal is buying all your Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, board games, and card game supplies at TokenMTG.com and using the promo code Ziggy to get 10% off of your order. And you can follow us at the Floodpod on everything, and that is on everything, including Patreon. We're giving a shout out to Enraged Peacock and using it again because I love it, AC Slater.
Not Pornhub.
No.
We don't have a Pornhub channel. Although,
Yet.
Enraged Peacock sounds like an awesome OnlyFans. Y'all be safe. We'll be back at y'all next week. Milk, thank you for joining us. Do you have anything you want to plug before we head out?
I got a show coming up. It's going to be at this awesome event. It's going to be June the 20th. Please hit me up if you can on Instagram at MILK_MANCOMEDY. I'm also seeing about making a YouTube and a few other things, but that's just my side of it. I look forward to hearing from some of y'all in the future. And this was fun. I'm glad you guys had me.
We had a lot of fun too, Milk. If y'all had fun, make sure to hit that like button, that thumbs up, share it, and come back next week for more hot takes. Deuces.
Shout out Dallas.
Look, it's a flood. It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about black stuff?